Random Reflections, 48 to 53. Geoffrey Marsh. I've written this poem about the times we had when we were all young, just a girl and a lad. Do you think, like me, of dissections and grind, and the lectures and ward rounds? Do they all come to mind? It's strange I remember those old times much better as my brain turns to gel. Can't remember what I had for breakfast, but can see Henry's face quite well. Do you ever reflect on the old days and the books we had to buy, acquired third hand from the year ahead, been used by some other guy? There were Cunninghams, greasy with formalin flesh, Gaddam, Gray and Starling, all pre-clinical texts. Then in Path there was Dybel and Davis, and Boyd if you really were thorough. They're all out of date now, quite out of print. Krebs' cycle, Lesser Sachs, dismissed as extinct. And later came Conybeare, Chamberlain, Pye, and a book from the library on diseases of eye. An American textbook of symptomatology that had most of us baffled. I make no apology. And what strange diseases we read all about. There was syphilis, tabies and syringa myelia, and accounts of diphtheria from another era. And diagnose as we tried in consulting rooms later, we never saw much learnt at our alma mater. For viruses then had only just come along, but they seemed to respond to pot brom and nux vom. Do you ever recall the exams that we took? Long hours of study, your nose in a book. So much we to learn, and practicals too, ophthalmoscopy, urines and testing some poo. I entered King's Hall with Jack, I remember, to sit finals part 1 in early December. On the walls there hung portraits of physicians resplendent, obstetricians, gynecologists and other incumbents. Jack glanced at them all, said before he began, "If I know all that they knew, I'll fail this exam." Do you still recall the bell that rang, only twice a year it tolled, when we all assembled near the porter's lodge to hear Norman Shott unfold names that had passed, but some were missing, resits at Christmas, for them no kissing. But most of us cheered and laughed again after 5 great years of fun and strain, and Neville, Johnny John and Jack had honours to their name. And off to tell the world we went that our grind was not in vain as we spilled into the sunshine to the telephones down the lane. But my dear pal Jim got his bus back home to the coast town, his domain, got out his books and shed a tear, read it all again. Do you ever think of those who have gone? Of Harry, Tim Seals and tall Johnny John, and Michael and Joe and dear Margaret Chitty, John Ridley in his 20s. Now that was a pity. Their ghosts roam the med school now, you know. They float round the corridors. They hang their shrouds in their lockers below, don their white coats, and off they go and drift across to the RVI to clerk some patients before they die. So we're getting towards the end of the line, but you look okay. I'm feeling fine. I wonder what's up there. Or there's nothing, perhaps. Yet I do trust we meet all the girls and the chaps. There'll be Carmel and Little and Wild March and Tullow and Pagden and Chambers and more still to follow, and Parsons and David and Bill Cook and Finn, and folks you'd forgotten until they float in. And Michael might write a song for us all, and we'll quickly join in and give it a ball, about our years in Newcastle and med school and that. For all that it taught us, I just raise my hat. And yes, it's all now in the distant past, and it scarcely matters too, for we've made our marks as best we could, and we've helped some patients through. And as our brains befuddle and medical facts we all forget, let's hope for a painless ending, but not for quite a bit yet.